friends, we have a new story this week. It's called Caps for Sale. A cap is another word for a hat. So this man is going to be selling hats in our story. Let's see what he does. Caps for sale. Once there was a peddler who sold caps. But he was not like any ordinary peddler carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First he had on his own checked cap, and then a bunch of gray caps, and then a bunch of brown caps, and then a bunch of blue caps, and then on the very top, a bunch of red caps. He walked up and down the street, holding himself very straight so as not to upset the caps on his head. As he went along, he called, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But nobody wanted any caps. Nobody even wanted a striped cap. He began to feel very hungry and he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," he said. And he walked out of town slowly, so as not to upset the caps on his head. He walked for a long time until he came to a big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," he said. And he sat down very slowly under the tree, and he leaned back little by little against the tree trunk so as not to disturb the caps on his head. Then he put up his hand to feel if they were straight. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, and then the red caps on the very top. They were all there. So he went to sleep, and he slept for a very long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. So he felt pretty good after his nap. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were there. All he felt was his own checked cap. Where did they go? He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked in the back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. Friends, where do you think they went? Then he looked up into the tree. And what do you think he saw? You ready? On every branch sat a monkey, and on every monkey was one of his caps. Look at this, friends. All of those monkeys took his hat off of his head and put them on their heads. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkey looked at the peddlers. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Those silly monkeys, they just copy him." This made the peddler angry. So he shook both hands and he said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook both their hands back at him and said, are they copying him and making fun of him? Now he felt quite angry. He stamped his foot and he said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." Look, he's stomping his foot down. But the monkeys only stamped their feet and they said, "Oh, you silly monkeys." By this time, the peddler was really very angry. He stamped both his feet and he shouted, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped both their feet back at him and said, At last he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap and he threw it on the ground and he walked away. Ooh, he got so mad. So he threw his hat on the floor. But then each monkey pulled off their hat and all the gray and all the brown and all the blue and the red came flying down off the tree. So they copied him, right? He threw his hat down and they threw theirs. So the peddler picked up his caps and put them back on his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray, then the brown, then the blue, and then the red on the very top. And slowly, slowly, he walked back to town calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." The end. I hope you love this story, friends. This is one of my favorites to read. Have a great day. See you soon.